to the Minnesota PRSA Conversations. I'm Margaret Ann Hennon, a member of the PRSA College of Fellows and of Minnesota PRSA. With me today is Jason Sprenger, APR. Jason is a former chair of the Minnesota chapter, and he is currently serving on the National Board of Directors for PRSA as the Midwest District Representative. Jason's going to share with us today an important case study illustrating some of the insights that he has garnered into ethical public relations over his career, and then share a little bit about what he learned and how he has used that going forward in future situations, and words of wisdom that he can share with all of us. Jason?
Well, thank you, Margaret Ann. Thank you to all of the Minnesota PRSA members. It's always my privilege and pleasure to speak with you and contribute however I can. So the ethical situation that comes to mind is a situation with an organization I used to work with. So the organization used to send out news releases every quarter, describing business momentum, key financial figures, sales, units shipped, whatever figure showed corporate momentum. And there was one time when some people I used to work with came to me and said, let's use these numbers in this next news release instead of these other ones. Now, these numbers were numbers that were crafted using different criteria than we had been using going forward. So they weren't an apples to apples correspondence or comparison. In that way, they were skewed and in some ways inaccurate. So I had the dilemma, having seen this situation come and seeing the numbers for what they were. The ethical situation or dilemma I had was whether to roll with what had been given to me or to push back, because the numbers were not accurate to what we had been on the record with in the public for some time. Now, another contributing factor with this is that the organization I was working with then also was a privately held company. So books were not shared, right? The finances, the units sold, anything that we put out into the public, we controlled. And there wasn't really any basis for comparison, meaning that in this situation, very few people probably would have known that the numbers weren't accurate, right? It would have been me and the people I was working with, and it's very possible no one else would have ever known the difference. But I would have, and the people I worked with then probably would have. So the decision was, again, should we use this information or not? And I, referencing the code of ethics, referencing what I believe to be right and wrong, I decided that I would push back, that I would go to the people I was working with and the people that were higher up on the ladder than I was, and say, I will not attach my name to this news release. I will not put this out. I do not support the use of information that is not consistent with other information that we've put out in the public domain before. And of course, as anybody who's had to make a similar decision knows, that is a decision that could be met with resistance, right? I had to look myself in the mirror and say, am I prepared to lose my job over this? I decided I was. And so, again, I went to people, I made that statement, and the result actually was that they backed off. They reconsidered their position after I pushed back, and the data information that we used for the news release was consistent with other information that we'd put out in the past. So by doing what I did, I helped steer the strategy, the bigger discussion, in a more accurate direction, and I'm grateful to the people I worked with then for seeing the wisdom of the ethical situation, and not putting me in a difficult position where I might have been fired. But I also it worked out, I would say, as well as anything, as well as it could have. That said, you know, I've never second guessed my decision, and I feel as practitioners, right? We only have one reputation, and I feel that we always have to guard that. We always have to be known for doing right and doing what's true and what's accurate and what's fair and everything else. And even if even one person out there knows that we have reneged on that, or walked that ethically gray area, then what are they going to ask us to do next, right? It could turn into a situation where a slippery slope situation where it could turn the other way, and I didn't want to be part of that. So yeah, I'm glad it turned out the way it did. I learned a lot from it. As much as anything, I think I learned that people fundamentally, I think, do want to do the right thing.
Mhm.
I think sometimes they need a reminder of what that is. And I think it's our jobs, in our industry, and being who we are and the roles we play, to help be that ethical guidepost. Um, and so hopefully we are able to uh, remind people of what the right way forward is, and then they'll follow us. Um, so I've not hesitated since that situation to speak whatever I think is true, right, fair, accurate, whatever, according to the ethical guides and the code that we have. And I have not run into a similar situation since. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah, that's really the big takeaway.
Doing the right thing for the right reasons takes courage. And being an ethical practitioner of public relations is some days a very courageous act. And when you say, I put my job on the line, I was ready to quit because it was the right thing to do, that takes courage, um, and builds trust. So that's the thing. That's what I take away from what you're saying, that importance of trust and how we build trust and our personal integrity.
I agree. I think and I'm no hero by any stretch, but I think that people all over the country in our industry do this every day. I think that we need to be the people that understand what's true, what's false, what's right, what's wrong, what is best for our organizations and their reputations, and not just for their organizations, but for ourselves as individuals. Because again, like I said, I think we only get one of them, and it can take an entire career to build it and make it a positive one, and it can be wiped away in a minute or with one action.
That's right.
And we don't want to, I don't think we ever want to be in that position. So and that's what I kept thinking about when I was in that situation. I did not want to be in that position, and I didn't want to potentially open the door to any other uh anything else that might follow me for a lifetime or career. And I would strongly encourage others to do the same.
Thank you, Jason. And thank you for joining us today to talk about this and to share these insights with people. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.